and I'm back, and today I'm going to be showing you how the Flame Stalker, the new dragon in Day of Dragons, actually fights against the other two types. So currently it was quite simple. You had two dragons, Acid Spitter was less good than the Shadow Scale, we all knew that. But with the third dragon there has to be some probably balancing issues, but I'll get into that. So for each thing, you will see a timer on how long it takes for one dragon to beat the other, and the actual timer starts from the moment you actually click the button for the attack. Because for example, with the Flame Stalker, the fire actually takes like around 2 seconds to start, but I count those 2 seconds because that's how much it takes. So the first one is Shadow Scale versus the Flame Stalker for the long range attack. And this is quite interesting. So as you can see, the Flame Stalker can beat the Shadow Scale pretty quickly. It only took him around 10 seconds. But for the Shadow Scale, the problem is obviously it needs to recharge quite a while. And this is only if you hit the Flame Stalker every single time. So if you don't, the Flame Stalker will have kind of time to also heal. And this is just not the way to go. I mean, as you can see, this is like 3 minutes and 40 something seconds. That is very overpowered if you ask me. It's kind of ridiculous. So for the Shadow Scale, I also tried the charge attack, because every normal attack does around 5% damage and the charge attack does 20%. But the problem is, to actually recharge after you shoot it all at once, it takes like more than a minute. So on the other day, it actually takes longer. So probably shouldn't use the charge attack unless you're pretty sure you're gonna hit the dragon and the dragon is like already low in health. So now we have the Shadow Scale versus the Flame Stalker with the biting. So this is hilarious. The Flame Stalker beat the Shadow Scale in like 3 bites. So that is just... that's kind of funny how, I mean it makes sense that this dragon is strong, but that strong that if it bites you like just 3 times you're already done. And for the Flame Stalker to die, it took like 40 seconds, so still kind of not very good. So the next one is the Acid Spitter versus the Flame Stalker for the long range attack, and I mean, it only took 4 seconds for the Acid Spitter to get beaten, which is actually I mean, it's obviously worse than the Shadow Scale. I mean, it kind of makes sense. This is a smaller dragon. But for the Acid Spitter, it took actually less long than the Shadow Scale to beat the Flame Stalker, so that is interesting. So I think this is probably the case because acid just, when a dragon is hit with acid, the Flame Stalker actually, it keeps on losing like health, unlike with the plasma. So I guess acid is a better way to go. That's quite interesting. Now we have Acid Spitter versus the Flame Stalker with the bites, and this is actually interesting. For the Flame Stalker to beat the Acid Spitter, it takes like around 4 to 5 bites, which is still one or two more, I guess, than the the Shadow Scale, so, okay. And the Acid Spitter actually beats the Flame Stalker with the bites pretty well too, I guess, so, I mean, I don't know, seems like the Acid Spitter ain't too bad with this. So I tested the Acid Spitter actually without the DK, the bite, and it took, like, I don't know, I think 20 seconds more, so definitely use the DK, otherwise it won't go that well. So now we go on to the Elder Shadow Scale versus the Flame Stalker for the long range, and this really proves how important Elders are gonna be. If you have an Elder, good for you, because look at this, like, the Shadow Scale survived full 12.9 seconds. That is so much longer than before, and actually, I mean, I don't know, still the plasma ain't the best for beating this the Flame Stalker, but it's still better than before. It's actually 4 times better. Last time it took around 4 minutes, and this time only 1 minute, so good for you, Elder Shadow Scale. So actually, when you become an Elder, you become a class higher of a dragon, but that would mean that the Elder Shadow Scale should be in the same class as the Flame Stalker, but the Flame Stalker is still clearly way better, so I don't know why that is. So now we have the Elder Shadow Scale versus the Flame Stalker with the bites. So this also, I mean, this, for the Shadow Scale, it is not much better. It took it, like, what, 5 bites to beat it, which is still way less, like, it's not so much better than the actual adult, so that's strange, but it took it way less to actually beat the Flame Stalker with bites, so I guess, yeah, the Elders are gonna be useful, even though it should be probably a bit more balanced. Now we go on to the Elder Acid Spitter versus the Flame Stalker for the long range. So again, I mean, Elder, yeah, good, even though not the best. Already got beaten in 5.9 seconds. what can you do, I guess. But as you can see, for the Acid Spitter, it took it like around 40 seconds to beat the Flame Stalker, so... So I also want to mention that it's interesting that the Elder Shadow Scale is actually much better than the Adult Shadow Scale, but then with the Acid Spitter it's not so much better than the Adult Acid Spitter, so that's a bit of a weird balancing thing. I just feel like this doesn't work out the best. Then the Elder Acid Spitter versus the Flame Stalker with the bites. So it takes, I mean, okay, I guess amount of, I don't know, in 5 bites the Acid Spitter's done, so I guess you gotta be very careful that this dragon doesn't bite you, but I guess it's good because the Flame Stalker can't really move on the ground the best, you know, kind of turn around and stuff, and the Acid Spitter's quite fast. And it didn't actually take the Acid Spitter that long to beat the Flame Stalker, it only like around 20 seconds, so this might be the way to go for like the Acid Spitter to just kind of run into the dragon and just bite it multiple times. Maybe that can work. Because there's no collision in this game, the Acid Spitter can actually just like go into the Flame Stalker and kind of bite it from the inside, which is quite unfortunate for the Flame Stalker because it, as I said, it can't really move around the best on the ground, so that might be the way to go. And now we have Flame Stalker versus the Flame Stalker. As I said, I don't have the Elder Flame Stalker, so I couldn't try that out. But for this dragon, you'll see that Flame Stalker battles are gonna be quite hard against each other. As you can see with the fire, it barely does anything. You will actually just run out of fire, need to wait so long for it to recharge, and when you use it again, this dragon is already almost healed, so fire is not gonna go Flame Stalker versus Flame Stalker because they're obviously quite resistant to fire. I mean, that makes sense, they literally shoot fire themselves. So yeah, no, don't use this. So for example, if you were like in an air battle, Flame Stalker versus Flame Stalker, that would not work out because biting is so hard in the air, and fire will not work because yeah, kind of it's like, oh yeah, if you shoot it every single time just enough, like yeah, the health is going down a little bit by little bit, but in practice, that is literally impossible. And now we have Flame Stalker versus Flame Stalker for the bites. So this also just is, it's not that good. I mean, look how long it actually takes. It doesn't even take off that much health each time. So it's kind of funny when you look at it. Like, Flame Stalkers are not gonna be able to kill each other very well. I feel like you will need to be probably in teams, multiple, again, clans. That's gonna be very fun, even more. So looking at all of this, yes, probably the Flame Stalker is overpowered, even though that is kind of the point of the game with the different dragon classes. They can't all be the same, but when you look at it, the good thing is the Shadow Scale and the Acid Spitter can both very easily run away from the Flame Stalker because Shadow Scales are way faster in the air, Acid Spitters are obviously so fast on the ground you can't catch them. So if those dragons want to run away, they probably can, but if they want to fight, I feel like the Acid Spitter actually has a way better chance of beating them if they're on the ground. Of course, otherwise the Acid Spitter has no chance because, I mean, yeah, they could shoot them from far away, but it's still kind of hard. So also gotta keep in mind that the Flame Stalker cannot actually shoot the fire when it's sprinting, so that is quite convenient for Shadow Scales to, like, if they're on the ground, to run away from it because it can't just run after you and shoot you at the same time. Honestly, I do not want to imagine what the Elder Flame Stalker is gonna be like. You're probably gonna be, like, basically invincible, because I doubt any dragon can really, like, I feel like the only dragon that can sort of stand up to the Elder Flame Stalker is another Elder Flame Stalker, so I feel like in the future they might need to balance that out a bit, but I guess we'll see. Anyways, that would be pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye!